This year, we're celebrating a remarkable milestone: 100 years of ESSSuper, a century of helping the people who help others, the teachers, police, firefighters, paramedics, and public servants who keep Victoria running. Our story begins in the early 1920s. After the First World War, Victoria was growing fast, but life was tough for working people, and retirement benefits were modest, around £26 a year. In fact, most Australians relied on family or charity in retirement. Then, in 1923, a police strike highlighted the urgent need for financial protection for those who serve the community. In its wake, the government established a dedicated police pension fund. The strike sparked a broader push for financial security across the public service. In 1925, the Victorian Superannuation Act created the State Superannuation Fund, managed by the new State Superannuation Board of Victoria. This paved the way for teachers, public servants, and others to receive a pension. Their years of service could finally be recognised. By 1929, more than 3,000 pensions had been paid to members, widows, and dependents. Through hardship and history, depression, war and recovery, the fund stood strong, providing security when Victorians needed it most. Throughout the 1950s and 60s, Australia was changing. More women were working, and the State Super Board pioneered new funds, first for married women teachers, then for all married women in the public service. It was an important first step towards equality. Prior to this, married women working in the public service had to leave their jobs and lost their super the moment they married. In 1965, medical incapacity was formally recognised. This meant that members who could no longer work due to injury or illness had the ability to retire early with dignity and security. It was a vital acknowledgement of the risks faced in public and emergency roles, and our death and disability benefits remains a distinguishing feature of our ESDB today. Through the 1970s and 80s, superannuation evolved dramatically. The Superannuation Act 1975 reshaped the State Superannuation Fund. The original scheme was closed to new members, and the revised scheme replaced it with improvements to how pensions were calculated and funded. Benefits were indexed to inflation, full pensions became payable at 65, and the rules became simpler and fairer across public service roles. In 1987, the Emergency Services Superannuation Scheme was established for Victoria Police, the fire services, and ambulance officers. It recognised the demanding nature of frontline work, offering earlier retirement options and stronger death and disability benefits. Membership was compulsory for new employees, while those in earlier schemes could choose whether to transfer. Within 6 months, ESSSuper had more than 10,000 contributors. By the early 1990s, superannuation became a right for most Australians, with the introduction of the Superannuation Guarantee. Employers were now legally required to contribute a minimum percentage of each employee's earnings into a complying superannuation fund. Victoria also restructured its public sector funds, replacing the State Superannuation Board with the Victorian Superannuation Board in 1993. Most defined benefit schemes were closed to new members, and ESSSuper was launched as a new accumulation fund. In 2005, two proud traditions came together as the State Super Fund and the Emergency Services Scheme merged to form Emergency Services and State Super, ESSSuper. The merger made us stronger, uniting shared experience, expertise, and an unwavering commitment to those who serve the public. This year, ESSSuper is 100 years strong. Over the past century, we've supported hundreds of thousands of Victorians and their families, helping them retire with dignity, supporting them through illness and injury, and providing security for loved ones when it mattered most. In doing so, we've helped strengthen the services Victoria relies on by standing behind the people who teach, protect, and care for our community. Today, we support over 121,000 members and manage more than $39.5 billion in assets, large enough to deliver strong financial outcomes, yet small enough to provide the personal support our members value. we're well placed to continue serving Victoria for the next 100 years. Our purpose remains unchanged: to provide financial security for those who dedicate their working lives to the Victorian community. ESSSuper, 100 years of looking after those who look after Victoria.